I'm addicted to YouTube. And it's embarrassing to say that. I feel like I replaced it with having the TV on all day in my house back when cable was more popular and just watching cable TV. And I think I'm also addicted to the information that I'm constantly consuming on social media, even if it's like gossip or other people's opinions or health and fitness or body positivity or I don't know, different ways of thinking about life, just anything. I'm just like obsessed with constantly consuming information and opinions of other people, but particularly YouTube for me. Instagram's probably second place, but that's more like doom scrolling. And YouTube, you doom scroll too. You have your main page, and then different topics come up, and the algorithm kind of knows you're always consuming. And then I notice my emotions are affected in my day based on what I'm watching. What I believe changes, my beliefs change. And I know I'm not the only one in the world that's addicted to YouTube. I probably watch it just as much, probably just as many hours as I sleep, probably. I don't know. 7, 8 hours, I don't know. It's like sleep, YouTube, and everything else. And it's not good. And this has been something that I've noticed for years now. It's really bad. It's really hard to let go of, and I've taken time where I would spend days without going on YouTube, and it was freeing, like, because I'm using it on my phone, so I'm doing the mobile way. I'm not using it usually on my computer or like streaming it from from my PS4 or anything like that. It's usually handheld. If I'm going on walks, I might be listening to YouTube. If I'm making meals, I might be listening to YouTube. I'm bored, I'm listening to YouTube. YouTube is just like the default dopamine hit every time. And sometimes I have to catch myself and be like, okay, maybe you should put your phone down. Maybe you shouldn't watch another YouTube video. You're doom scrolling. You're constantly looking for the next video you might want to watch. And I have too much information in my head. Like, I feel like I know too much about certain areas. You can't know everything, which that makes YouTube, thrive, because you can't know everything. So there's always something new to learn. There's always someone else's unusual opinion to learn about. There's always some type of new way of eating or new diet to learn about. There's always something new to learn and experience on YouTube. Watching someone else's life, seeing how they live. It's always something because there's so many videos. And I know that I am a content creator myself. And I even have YouTube Premium. Like, I was like, I don't like watching these ads. These ads are annoying. So I bought YouTube Premium. And let me tell you, I'm benefiting from YouTube Premium for this addiction because I don't have to click, I don't have to scroll away from ads or nothing. But I know for my mental health, I know for my life, it isn't good because you can't experience life truly being addicted to stuff like this. And that's what they're built for. And so some people it might be Facebook. For some people it might be video games. Video games I feel like especially for younger men, video games can be highly addictive. And I remember growing up, I played a lot of video games. I watched a lot of TV, like that puberty kind of teenage kind of time. I watched a lot of like TV and I played a lot of video games with my younger brother. And that was addictive because we'll be up like it's summertime. We're too poor to, go to summer camp and things like that. So video games was a substitute for entertainment. And so we could stay up to 4 in the morning because it's July. And, I'm in middle school I think I was middle school. I was in middle school, and my brother is in late elementary school or whatever, and we can just play video games all day for hours and hours and hours, and never even leave the house. Never leave the house. So that was like an addiction too. You know, playing hours and hours. I just know I'm not the only one. But it's embarrassing to talk about because having certain addictions it's embarrassing. But I feel like it's almost normalized a lot. Like eating unhealthy food is kind of normalized a lot because it's on every fucking corner. You go to a gas station, it's there. You see advertisements, it's there. You walk down the street, it's there. Your family members eat it, it's there. It's just always there. So that's another addiction itself, like highly processed foods. You know, there's just so many. You know, you have like the corn. It's so stupid. I have to call it a fucking vegetable, and I cuss. Oops. But corn, right, is so easily accessible now too. Like you could watch it for free, and people get really addicted to that, and it affects their relationships. We're just in a highly dopamine maximum society now, and it's so highly toxic. Like, you know, gambling. Honestly, I feel like in some ways ED is some form of addiction too, because you get obsessive about what you're consuming, how much you're consuming, how often you're exercising, how many calories you're burning. You get hyper fixated and obsessed. You will like literally like, okay, I'm not going to this restaurant because I'm already over my calories today, or it has too much oil, or you're like getting hyper fixated and obsessive. So you can be almost like addicted to dieting. There's just so much. Our society is truly in trouble. And I'm in it. And it's hard. And like I said, I've done where I spent days without watching YouTube. And days without being so consumed on my phone. And constantly checking my email at least 20 times a day. And checking Instagram several times. And constantly looking at the time. It's become so deeply ingrained in my computer programming, you know, that it just seems normal, but I know it's not helpful. It doesn't help me. It doesn't progress me in life, and it keeps me stuck. But it's hard to say that, I guess, out loud, and to put it on, to freaking put it on the actual thing that's making me addicted on YouTube. And I don't know. But yeah, I've done it where I've been weeks, you know, spent a few weeks not being on YouTube, not being on social media. And then I go back to it. It's like, well, I did it. I took a few weeks off and I can go back again. And it's like, it hooks you right back in. It's like, oh, what have these people been doing? You know, what's so-and-so doing? What's this doing? How is this going? And it's like such a fake connection, because it's like, yeah, you can like follow your cousins, your aunts, uncles, whoever, friends, family, whoever, on these, like, I don't know, Facebook. Facebook feels like millennial and older at this point. But like these different social media things, you can follow people, but you're just being nosy. Because honestly, if you really cared about how that person's doing, you would just call them. I know that's such a 90s thing to do. I know, it's such a 90s thing to do, but like, you would just call them. No, text is cheap. We all know that. Text is just, I don't like texting. I guess I'm one of those millennials that don't like texting. Like, I'd rather have like a WhatsApp message, like a voice message, or call me. I don't know. Like, what is so hard? I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm just like, it's so ick in some ways. Like, this fake communication that we're having is just bullshit. Like, you're following people on social media, you really have no connection. If I'm following somebody from high school and college and family and friends thousands of miles away, I don't really have a connection with them. I don't really have a real connection with them. I don't really have a real relationship with them because I know that their son or daughter just had a birthday, or they just got married, or they just bought a house. Okay, like, it ain't like I talked to them last week and I really know what's going on in their life. You know what I mean? And that they're struggling with this, that, and the other. Or like, I comfort them the other day, they comfort me the other day. Like, we have a real, genuine, nurturing relationship. We don't. So like, I say that I have friends, and I'm sure you maybe do. Some of these YouTubers, like, I have 0 friends. I have no pets. I got no man. You know what I mean? It's all over the internet. I'm saying, like, it's a common thing now. Like, people have nobody but themselves. But for people who do have friends, I'm just like, do you really have friends? Like, how often do you see these friends? How often do you communicate with these friends? And I know there was like a while back, there was some messaging or memes going around saying we could spend years not talking to each other, and then we see each other years later and we just pick right back up where we started. Like, we pick right back up, like everything's cool. And I'm like, but is it really? Like, is that really a true connection and friendship that you just was like, you stopped talking for so many years and then you could just pick right back up? Now, I understand a few thousand years ago, if someone went to like Africa and you're in Europe, you probably would never talk to them again because communication technology was different back then. And so you might be like, oh, my long lost brother from Africa. I don't know. You get what I'm saying? Like, that might be the exception to the rule, but we don't live in that kind of reality anymore. So are connections really that strong and really that great when you spend extended periods of time without communicating with each other? Is it really that strong? And I might question and say no. Even if you have similar belief systems and similar like interest, I don't know. I don't think it's as strong as we're thinking it is, because we are so-called so busy in our lives that we don't prioritize relationships anymore, and we prioritize these addictions instead. Because it's so much cheaper and easier just to see who so-and-so is doing on Facebook, or on, I don't know, what they tweeted on Twitter, or like, you know, what pictures they're showing of their kids on like Instagram, than to actually talk to them. And it's so bad now, like mental health is so bad now, like people can't even talk to people. Like, it's so weird. Like, people, like, I feel like millennials and maybe even Gen Zers have this weird like anxiety thing, like social anxiety, that's like, well, I don't like talking to people on the phone, I'm so anxious, and I can't talk to people in person, I'm so anxious. And I'm just like, that shit's not normal. That doesn't make sense. Like, we are Homo sapiens, we're humans, and the same with like other animals. If your ass was like another animal, like, you know, because other groups like, you know, I don't know, monkeys, orangutans, or whatever, if you're so anxious and you can't talk to people, you would be ostracized and you wouldn't survive. And it's just unusual and it's abnormal to make this normal, to be like, oh, and like, it's almost like a flex saying, well, I can't talk to people because I have anxiety. And I'm not downing anxiety. I have anxiety at times. But I'm just saying, like, don't make it normalized. It's not normal to be like, I have no friends. That's not normal. To have shitty parents is not normal. Well, you know what? It's common, but it's not normal. That's not good to have shitty parents. I have shitty parents. Is that good? No. And my one parent, it's passed on, so they will never know. The other one doesn't even watch my channel, so they won't even know. But this isn't normal. I know this came from like, the first half of this video is mainly about addiction, and then I just digressed to something else because this is just flowing through me. But I think sometimes too we're addicted to our own problems, and I'm one of them. Okay, I'm okay. I'm exhibit A. Okay, you could be like, I have depression, I have anxiety, so I can't do this, I can't do that, and it's like a crutch, right? And it's like, well, I have anxiety, social anxiety, so that's why I don't have friends. And I'm like, okay, are you really making an effort from your social anxiety, or are you just sticking to that story? Like, you know what I mean? Like me being like, I'm addicted to YouTube. Okay, well then stop watching YouTube. People are like, well, that's not that easy. And it's not. Like I tried it. I've done it for weeks at a time. But it's almost like you have to retrain the computer programming that we have because it's gonna go to the default program that it's been doing for who knows how long, and it's very difficult to change. But yeah, it's gonna be hard the first few times. I'm gonna have to keep trying. You're gonna have to keep trying too. If you have any addictions to different whatever it is, you're gonna have to keep trying to retrain that computer programming into training into a new program and to add something else there to replace it. So instead of being like super anxious about talking to people, it's like you're gonna have to try to muster some courage to talk to people. Even if you might semi embarrass yourself or feel like you're embarrassing yourself by crying in public, you're probably not going to see those people again anyway, so whatever. Yeah, I cried in public a couple times and it feels a little vulnerable, but I'm like, look, I'm feeling it at the moment. I'm gonna cry. I'm not gonna go and hide. Yeah. Long story short with that, I was in Costa Rica. I was climbing up a mountain. It was hard and I was crying because, well, for one, I had a freaking ankle injury and I was dumb enough to do this thing. And I finally got there. I finally got to the hand. It was this huge hand, and I sat in it. It's from one of my vlogs from a couple years ago. But yeah, I digress. You know, like yeah, it could feel a little embarrassing and vulnerable and weird to do something new like crying in public because I just felt like crying. It wasn't like I was trying to get attention, but I was feeling like so tired and I was so upset. But anyway, I think I said enough in this video. And like I said, I know I'm not the only one, but I know that I need to do something different because it's negatively affecting my life. And it might be negatively affecting yours too. Um, yeah. All right, well, I will talk to you soon. Bye.